Well, that's quite a title, everybody. Hello and welcome to Let's Get Possessed. That's a little on the frightening side, isn't it? But no, it's not. This is really a reminder that those pesky, prickly, persnickety, possessive nouns and pronouns. This is going to be a quick overview to help you get started and be quite comfortable understanding what you need to do moving forward. Remember, ownership. That's what possession is about. One thing can possess another thing. And those things are part of a person, place, or thing. So they've got to be, you got it, nouns. Let's take a look. So for identifying possessive relationships, what I'm going to show you are some of the important things to consider. There are a handful of key rules you need to know. Actually, there's really only two, but there's four situations. Go figure. So here's what this looks like. All right, you first, always, you're looking for one noun. This is going to be followed by another, and yes, there can be adjectives between them. It's going to be followed by another noun. And again, just a reminder, we describe things. So that has nothing to do with it not being followed by a noun if there's an adjective there. So more on that to follow. Okay, here we look at this and we say, oh, the boys' new locker room was a disaster. I'm going to just give you some wordage, and here's another one. The girls wondered who was in charge. So as a simple way, when you're not sure, is you always ask yourself, first off, do you see two nouns? Well, the boys' new locker room. Okay, whose new locker room? Oh, it's the boys. It's just new. It's the locker room is the thing. So that's possessive. Well, whose wondered? Can girls possess a verb? Never. Ever. It's not going to happen. All right, next. Once you're sure you have a possessive relationship, you must make sure you can figure out by the context, are you talking about one thing or two things? Is it singular? Is it plural? Are we talking about all boys or just one? One girl or all girls? And of course, as you know, if your boyfriend or girlfriend is always jealous and wants you around, watch out. You are in a possessive relationship. Oh, I don't know why we like to do this, but let's get rid of that. Okay, singular possessive nouns is what your focus is going to be for today, but I am going to go through all the rules so you have them before you get into the review. So singular possessive nouns, really, really simple. It means you're talking about one thing. Think about all the nouns. Look around your room. There's plenty of things there right now. There's a computer, there's a light, there's a water bottle, I have a phone, I have a charger. All these things are singular. And for all of these, I simply would add an apostrophe S to make it possessive, to show possession. There's your quirky little apostrophe that most of you go, wait, that thing that we put up there, that apostrophe thing. All right. Twisted and broken, the boy's bicycle lay on the ground. So let's make sure what we're talking about. Okay. Bicycle, boy's bicycle. Can we answer the question, whose bicycle? Of course, it's the boy's bicycle. And there's no way a whole bunch of boys can be riding one bike. So it's one boy, apostrophe S. The dancers' rhythmic moves were amazing. Whose moves? Or whose rhythmic moves? It's just an adjective there. Oh, it's the dancers. And we're talking about one because it's an apostrophe S. And that's how we know it's singular. You only need to worry about adding an apostrophe S every single time if it's possessive and we're talking about one thing. But there are some other situations you need to be aware of. For instance, singular possessive nouns that end in S. Usually, but not always, these are your proper nouns names. So these are very common, but the rule doesn't change. If you have a singular possessive noun that ends in S, go ahead, add apostrophe S. So just keep that in mind. For 3 out of 4 rules, you're always going to add an apostrophe S. The Jones house, you would not say the Joneses, you just say the Jones house is on fire. Whose house? The Jones. We know that name is Jones. It ends in S, so we add an apostrophe S. Hutchins is the last name. Whose gold medal? The Mr. Hutchins gold medal, won. And of course, grammar is boring, but Miss Williams' possessive lesson, who in the lesson is the thing, possessive is just describing it. Oh, It's Miss Williams' possessive lesson. There it is. Wait, it possessed me. But I'm bummed. All right. Now we have most nouns in the English language, most, not all, end become plural by adding an S. Take a look around your room. Window, windows, picture, pictures, necklace, necklaces, a little more challenging, computer, computers, all of those. You know that. And this is the only rule that's different. If you have a word that's plural and possessive, then you just add, and again, it became plural because you added S. You just add an apostrophe after the S. You don't add anything additional because we know it's already plural by looking at the word. So, all of the soccer players' equipment arrived. Whose equipment? The soccer players. Not one, but all. Player is singular, players is plural, so just add an apostrophe. That's it. At Frost, the girls' bathrooms. Whose bathrooms? The girls. Not one girl. If every girl in Frost had a bathroom, there would be no classrooms there. Okay, every Frost, the girls' bathrooms, have a changing room and a jacuzzi. Think things have changed since you were not here a year ago? No, they haven't. All right. The past, let me get that thing out of the way. Fade away, please. The past several weekends' weather. Who or what's weather? Oh, the weekends. And we're talking about several weekends, not one. So it's weekend becomes plural by adding S. And then you got that apostrophe. Bingo. Next up. Don't forget. And again, we're not going to focus on this today, but for a later time. Words that end in Y, as you know, from way back in the day in elementary school, you make most of those plural by adding IES, right? Lady, family, enemy, and more. So IES, don't forget that. Now, because that's the plural word, it's the same rule applies. You would not put baby and then add an S. You know that. It becomes babies, and the reason it's babies is because it's plural. So there's an S there already. Just add an apostrophe. Boom. Done. The ladies, lady turns to ladies when it's plural. Whose lunch? The ladies' lunch. Every family's house. Whose house? The families, all of them, every families, just add the apostrophe after it. Very simple. Our enemies' weapons were too much. We're not talking about one enemy. We're talking about all of our enemies. Lord knows we got too many of those. All right, next. And this, I believe, is our last one. Plural possessives with plural nouns not ending in S. These are otherwise known as your irregular plural possessive words. Things like. So again, now we go back to the rule. If a word is plural but doesn't end in S, this is, you just go back to that. Oh, add an apostrophe S. Basically, if you see a word that ends in S and you want to show it is, and you know that that is a plural word, then just an apostrophe. But if you're not sure, you're just always going to add an apostrophe S. You'll know more about this. In Avatar, the women. Woman is singular. Women is plural. So we don't add an S to make that possessive. So it's just apostrophe S. Politicians understand that children's voices matter. Child becomes children. No S, add an apostrophe S. It's already plural. And where my S went, I don't know. All the sheep's wool was wonderfully soft. Keep that in mind. All right, that's just a quick update on what you're going to be doing with possessives. Thank you.